Elizabeth Truss.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker, and can I congratulate the member for South Down on her passionate advocacy of the economic development of her constituency, and can I also congratulate the member for East Hampshire on his advocacy of education programmes and how important that is. I am very grateful to be called in today's economy debate because I believe that addressing the deficit and powering economic growth are the two most important things that this government can do. And I believe that South West Norfolk and Norfolk have a lot to offer in terms of us achieving those objectives. Now, the people of South West Norfolk are not afraid of hard work. Indeed, we are a forward-looking and self-reliant county. We are part of the east of England, which is one of the 3 regions in the country that puts more in the tax pot than takes out of the tax pot. But in order to carry on being a net contributor, we need to make sure that we have the infrastructure and the skills in our county to do that. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. Now, my predecessor, Christopher Fraser, worked hard on those issues to secure further funding to the A11, to protect Swaffham Community Hospital, and he spoke out frequently on the issue of flood defences, which is very important for members of our community, some of whom can only use their road for 200 odd days in the year because it is closed because of flooding. Now, South West Norfolk is famous for some very strong characters. Thomas Paine was born in Thetford, a man who started off revolutions on 2 continents. And Boudicca was reputed to have come from Thetford as well. And she led an uprising against the Romans. Now, sadly, when she left the county of Norfolk and moved on, she was strategically outmanoeuvred at the Battle of Watling Street. That is not a fault that would happen to my other predecessor, or one of my other predecessors, Gillian Shepherd, now Baroness Shepherd, who successfully steered many reforms through this House as Minister for Agriculture and Secretary of State for Education and Employment. Agriculture is a huge part of the economy in South West Norfolk. We have the world's biggest sugar factory in Wissington. We also have some amazing arable production and pig production, and we are still enjoying the bounty of the asparagus crop. And I have to say, I've just been enjoying it in the tea room as well. So I hope it's Norfolk asparagus that we've brought here. And if it isn't, I'll certainly be working to make sure that that happens. But we do have problems, and agriculture does face problems, not least the Rural Payments Agency, which I want to work on reforming, particularly the mapping exercise, which has had many farmers in South West Norfolk in utter consternation. We have 2 other key market towns, Swaffham and Downham Market, and I don't know whether members have heard of the Peddler of Swaffham. The Peddler of Swaffham came to London to look for treasure, but he found out that actually the treasure was in Swaffham all along. And I can tell you there is much more treasure to be unearthed in Swaffham. It's tourism industry and it's energy industry. And Downham Market is another fine town which boasts, or used to boast, orchards, is still a centre for agriculture, and now has a number of commuters living in the constituency who travel to Cambridge, Kings Lynn and London. And I will be wanting to make their lives easier by seeking improvements to that train line. The constituency stretches from the Fens to the Brecks and right down to the Suffolk border. And in all those areas, there are various businesses tucked away. We've got all sorts of innovative businesses, producing fuel from cooking oil, producing high-tech lasers, and airport scanning equipment. It's amazing the things you find. But all of those businesses tell me the same thing, that they're frustrated with dealing with government agencies, too many of them, a plethora of initiatives, and too much red tape. They also want action on the creaking infrastructure we have in Norfolk, and there are more specialist skills that we need. That's why, together with my Norfolk colleagues, I will be fighting for dualling of the A11. from the Five Ways roundabout to Thetford. And I noticed that the Chancellor earlier mentioned that he wants to put money where there's a high level of economic return. Well, I can tell the Minister that there is a benefit-cost ratio of 19 for this project, so it's high value. It will unlock more growth in Norfolk. We also want to see a successful conclusion to the train franchise agreement and, of course, broadband rolled out across the county. But the other thing I will be pushing for is an overhaul of our qualification system. Because like everywhere else in the country, the economy of South West Norfolk has changed. With increased automation, we now have the need for higher skilled jobs. A typical farm in South West Norfolk now employs an eighth of the employees as it did 40 years ago. But those employees are in highly technical skilled jobs and business management roles. And we need to make sure that we are educating people for those jobs. And that's why I want to look to our great universities to lead on academic qualifications. I have previously called for maths and science to move from geek to chic. Never has this been more important, and I will be pressing for that. I also want to see employers lead on the job skills, because people get a passion for work. They get a sense of craftsmanship from watching somebody who cares about it doing the job. And I will be fighting for that, to make sure those people are in charge, not bureaucrats, of setting our qualifications. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to make my maiden speech today. I'm truly grateful. I think with the right policies, and I know we have them, and I know the will is there on our front bench, we can make not just Norfolk a powerhouse, we can make the whole of Britain a powerhouse for the future of our economy.
Well done.
Alex Cunningham.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker, for calling me to make my maiden speech.